Okay, testing. So no, I don't work. And I don't think anybody should work. What I do is I enjoy activities that I get paid for, and I enjoy activities that I don't get paid for. So I really like to fly around the world and to help people with projects. And for some reason, I'm a natural-born leader, so I'm able to do nothing and get everyone else to do everything. But I do that through inspiration, not through being a boss, because I'm not a boss guy. I don't believe in managing people, and I don't believe in people actually working for a living. I think people should really enjoy what they're doing to make their ends meet. What I'm going to talk about here tonight is their needs. So one of the things I'm talking about in the Conscious Observer is needs, which is part of our body needs, our mind and spirit. And I think everyone's really curious about consciousness, especially now that in December 2012, we're shifting from materialism to consciousness in the universe. Is everybody aware of that?
Didn't get that memo.
You didn't get that memo?
Oh, sorry.
But that memo won't come out. Everybody thinks it's going to be the end of the world. I think this is really cool. Everybody goes, wow, the world's going to end at 2012. It's not going to end. It's going to take like another 300 years for people to become more conscious of why we're here. Does anybody know why we're here?
Collect gold.
Has it worked?
Not so far.
Exactly. So yeah, we're here to learn, but who? Who's here to learn? Like me? Me, the person, or the person within? This is a really good quote. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks within awakens. That's really what the Conscious Observer is about. Is there's more to me than you see. So, I don't even have a name. Like when I was born 54 years ago, before the ink was dry on my birth certificate, my parents changed my name. It's like, so I had an identity crisis from when I was born. So they called me Edmund John on my birth certificate. And then they decided to call me Ted. And I don't know how that goes together because people say, well, Ted doesn't stand for anything. So I grew up thinking my name was Ted Edmund John Lister. And then I decided I would change it to EJ because it was shorter. But people kept calling me Ted. When I went to Australia, they had another name for me, but I can't say it here because we're filming. In Venezuela, they called me Colita because I had a ponytail, and that means Colita. In Madagascar, they called me Sarabe. They said that means beautiful. But then they'd laugh after they said it, so I don't think I'm beautiful. True story. To the stranger on the street, I am nobody. If I write a bestseller or I star in a movie, I'm a somebody. To the government, I'm a number. To the bank, I'm a customer. And to the church, I'm a soul. To science, I'm some random mutation of particles that are 200 million years old that somehow evolved into an intelligent human being. But there's no purpose. In science, it's mind and body only. There is no purpose. There's no universe alive out there, outside of the earth. So for me, it became very clear that science is over here with their ideas of materialism and evolution and the laws of mathematics and nature. And over here was the church with their dogma of rules and paradigms that you must follow. And neither one of them were very satisfactory, at least to me. It didn't make sense that there was no real purpose for me to be here, other than to procreate and evolve, which seemed tragic. Seriously tragic that I would spend my entire life living in fear of dying or poverty or people not liking me or not being loved and having this little voice in my head. So the idea of a conscious observer is, I need to clearly look inside and see, who am I really? And why am I here? And so for me, this has been a 15-year journey that started years and years ago, because I seem to have had the ability, and I grew up with it because my mom was an old soul angel that taught me, whatever I visualize, anything that I picture in my mind, and I believe it, I completely believe that it's going to come true, without any fear and any doubt. It shows up. It is so amazing. But on the other side, I can't use that for my own self-worth. And this is where I think people in the unconscious world are trying to be successful in having the job, the trophy wife, the car, and all the best stuff in order to say, hey, look at me. This is me. I'm important. And that's not who we are. And that's not what we're going to take with us when we leave this planet, which apparently we have to do sooner than later. So in the conscious observer, the idea is that I'm using this body and I'm using this mind to experience what I call spiritual growth. So my spirit came here to grow through me before I leave. The only thing that is going to be left over when I leave is that wisdom that was gained through that spiritual person. So who agrees that there is something other than just mind and body? Does everybody believe that? And is it something that is available to us in order to live a life what I call joy? I differentiate joy and happiness as two different things. And I'll explain that on my illustration for my book that I'm working on. I created an illustration that I need brought up on the screen as soon as possible. And I'll demonstrate. Now you have this illustration. I put this illustration on the Meetup website, and I've given you a handout. I'm just going to explain a little bit about what I've been talking about. Spirit, body, mind. Everybody's familiar with these three entities, but we're not really sure what does it mean. What I want to do is be very clear about what is the difference between wanting and desire. What's the difference between happy and joy? And to me, they're clearly two different things. So looking at the body, our body, when we're born, we need, and these are the needs, we need oxygen, we need water, and we need nutrition. And nutrition doesn't mean Big Macs, beer, although I enjoy a Big Mac once in a while, and a beer. We need nutrition, we need shelter and clothing, we need sleep, and we need exercise. We need hygiene and some form of communication. We would not exist if it wasn't for some form of communication. We do need some money. So we have to have a means of creating something to either trade or to earn currency in order to buy the things that we need for shelter and for exercise and nutrition. The other thing I think is incredibly important, that we could not survive without companionship. No matter how difficult some of our relationships are, we need companionship. People were not meant to be alone. Anybody here live alone? How's that, Ken? It's good for you though, Ken, right? You like living alone?
I do now.
Yeah.
It took a while to get used to it.
Yeah. It's tough, people, but you, at the same time, you still have your friends and your people. So even that is companionship. So these are basic. If you took away everything that you don't need, you wouldn't need to make very much money to survive. Especially if you're in the tropics. I could live in the tropics for $3 a day and do nothing but sit on the beach, and I could survive. I have water and oxygen is free. Nutrition, I can eat bananas and coconuts and I can eat fish. It's really inexpensive. Shelter and clothing is minimal in the tropics. I can sleep and get exercise. Hygiene, I could live there for nothing. So why do I want to work? Why do we work so hard, so much? I'll tell you why. It's because of this. We want stuff. Right? We want to be important. We want to buy things. We want to be happy. Happy. We buy happiness. The pursuit of happiness is really the pursuit of money. So the more money we have, the more powerful we are, the more handsomer we can be. This is a very important part of the unconsciousness of people in the materialistic world, where all we think about is survival and being important. When I look at happiness, happiness is something that has a consequence of unhappiness. And eventually, the more happy and unhappy times we have, the more we get addicted to those emotions. And the more we repeat the same things every day, the same thoughts, the same relationships, the same jobs, we get in a rut. We live our life over and over again. Happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy. People do this because when you're unconscious and surviving and living with fear, there's always the fear that I'm not going to be good enough, I don't look good enough, I'm not going to make enough money, people aren't going to love me, I'm going to die, I might get sick. So in order to avoid thinking about that, we watch television, we go to the bar, we do all kinds of things to avoid that, to try to be happy. And that takes money. We get money, we like to be entertained. Human beings love to be entertained all the time, need to be entertained. And like I said, if we continue to do that, we'll go up and down, and we'll be happy one time and then unhappy and then happy, and it'll form these emotional addictions in our brain. And the more we release those chemicals, the more addicted our cells become to those thoughts. And that was where the saying, people live or exist rather than living, with no idea of the power that they have within to really live life, like to really do something. So when you look at mind and the ego, the egoic mind, that little voice in the head that gives us the feedback that we have every day about who we are and what we want in order to be more powerful and either to survive. The more powerful I am, the chances are I'm going to survive. I'm going to attract a better looking mate. I'm going to have better looking children. This is the ego's purpose, is to survive. Now if I take this away for a moment and I look over here at the spirit, so the other part of me that lives inside me, I can see that there is something in me, this realm of conscious intelligence that's in everything in the world, every piece of vibrating energy and matter. There are what I call desires. These are the true desires of my heart that I came here to experience. The reason I have a gift, and everybody has a gift, or if you're lucky you have more than one gift, that gift is for a purpose. That gift is to go and experience and expand as a spiritual being, not to go and buy stuff or to be somebody. And the reason we run into conflicts is because this has desires and is making some of the choices for us when we're unconscious and we're thinking, I would never do that. Well, why did that happen to me? And it comes from this desire of your spirit to experience for its own growth. Does that make sense to everyone? What we're saying is that there are actually two people in here. And the longest journey you'll ever make is this 12 inches from here to here. It is brutal to get out of your head and be conscious and observe your true self. Who am I? When you understand that joy is constant, joy has no alternate. It's a nice, consistent pattern. Joy is a freedom from fear. So a conscious individual, a conscious observer, doesn't worry about what people think, doesn't worry about dying, doesn't worry about anything, because it's just all a dream anyways. Everything we do, we're in and out of experiences every day. Some of them last for a day, some of them last for a month. I just had one that lasted 10 years. Almost killed me. While I was in that experience, I needed a lot of money to support that experience, and the money showed up. It just kept showing up. When the experience ended, the money ended. And I never saved any of it. I just spent it all. And so now I'm on to a new experience. I don't hold on to anything. Non-attachment, because I don't need things in order to be something. So I own virtually nothing. I have a guitar that I left in Madagascar. I have that computer. And I have some clothes. 7 minutes from the airport. I have a passport and a Visa card. I love the freedom of being able to experience life rather than trying to be successful. So this is the whole premise of this conscious observer, is the idea that let me step back and look at who am I really, and what is the connection between the consciousness in the universe, which I so believe is there. I don't believe that it's a dead universe with no purpose. I'm not big on the God idea that there's a God up there on a computer keeping track of everything I do and that I can go to heaven or hell. It doesn't work for me. I seriously believe that whatever's keeping my blood pressure in check and my blood circulating and my hair growing, that I'm not doing that. Something is doing that. There is an intelligence. There is life. When I became born, I became alive. And when I die, my particles will go back into the dirt. But the consciousness will continue. It's just the whole universe is evolving and conscious. So my thought was, I can connect with the consciousness of everything through this spirit side of me, and I can visualize what it is I would like to experience, what I desire, and it shows up. It always shows up. The people show up in my life. The money shows up in my life. Everything I need, everything in order to have that experience shows up. It's brilliant. But it has to be through the observation of being conscious. So I have another slide that's in your presentation that really explains what I'm trying to say here, is that there's more to being on this planet than struggling day to day with surviving and worrying, fear of dying and fear of not being loved and fear of poverty. That really it's just like a storybook. All these short stories that we have that are very similar to the dreams that we have every night that come and go. And so what I determined was that I can write stories about each of the experiences I've had in my life, in my past. So I can write about the last 10 years, I can write about 3 or 4 past experiences that I've had, and I can look at who made the choice to get into that experience. Was it my mind, or was it my desire? Was it my heart? What happened in the beginning of that experience? What happened in the middle of it? And what happened at the end of it? What did I gain? What did I lose? Not from a material standpoint, but from a wisdom. How did that help me to grow? How did that help me to get where it was I wanted to be? So the great thing about this is I can write all kinds of short stories about things that happened to me in the past. The cool thing is I can stop right now and be conscious of where I'm going. And I can write a story for my next experience before I even have it. So I start writing a short story about what I would like to experience, not what I want to have, not about winning the lottery, not about buying a BMW. It's about, I would like to experience driving a BMW every day to work. That would be an experience. So I picture myself doing this, and I write it out as a short story experience. And it will show up. As long as I don't think about how it's going to show up. What's the first two words that everybody says, or people say to you when you suggest that they could do something? You heard of, yeah, but. I hear this all the time. I say, why don't you think about working at this job? Oh, yeah, but they're probably not hiring. Oh, yeah, but I'm not smart enough. Yeah, but. That's all I hear. So my daughter came out here from Ontario after Christmas. She's 19 years old. And I said, Chasey, what would you like to do? She goes, well, Dad, I think I'll go skiing and maybe work as a waitress. I said, well, that's cool. Let's go up to Earl's because that's a good little restaurant. I think you could work there. She fits the hiring policy. Is that polite to say that? Seems to be this, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Get the black dress and you're 19 years old. Yeah. So anyway, so I thought, okay, cool. So we're on our way up there and she says, yeah, but they're probably not hiring. Yeah, but. And when we got to the restaurant, we had lunch and she's looking around and thinking it's a nice place to work. And I'm saying to her, Chasey, just picture yourself working here. Can you just picture yourself? Yeah, but. I said, no, don't say yeah, but. Don't think about just picture yourself doing that. So she starts picturing herself. I say, now the next thing that's going to happen to you is the opportunities will show up. The opportunity will show up, but you have to be conscious enough to see it and to take it. So we have our lunch, and it got so busy that the waitress couldn't come to our table and take the check. So the manager came over. The manager's talking to us and taking the check, and oh, what are you doing? And my daughter's going, oh, I just came here from Ontario. And that was her perfect opportunity that was created by her visualizing working there. And all she had to do was say to him, I'd like to work here. But she didn't say anything. Because it's this fear and unconsciousness, that the disbelief that I could actually work there. We do this all the time to ourselves. Before Christmas, I went to the vendors and bought beer and wine. And they're selling teddy bears, stuffed animals. And if you buy one, they'll donate one to the children's hospital. So I bought one, and I took it home, and I had it sitting on my dresser. It was there for 3 days, and one morning I got up and I'm on my way to work, and I thought, I should take this bear for some reason. I put this bear in my backpack. And so I put the bear in my backpack, and I thought, yeah, I should give it to someone that would really like it. So I walk up Royal Oak and take the Royal Oak SkyTrain. I always stop at 7-Eleven and get a coffee. When I'm waiting to cross the road at Kingsway to the 7-Eleven, I always talk with people. I talk with everyone. And there was an elderly Asian woman there pushing a stroller, and she had a little child in it. And I'm talking with her. And then she pulls the stroller lid back to show me the little child. The little child looks at me and starts bawling and screaming. And it really freaked me out. And I'm going, oh my God, I made the baby cry. And that was my opportunity to take the bear out and give it to this child. But I went completely unconscious. I got scared. I made this baby cry. And I thought, oh my God, this is really awkward. The opportunity was given to me. It was so clear. When I got in to get my coffee, I'm thinking, wow, I didn't see the opportunity. So one of the things that is important for us is to be able to visualize what it is we'd like to do. I visualized, with no education, making $20 an hour, that I could make $50 an hour. And all my mates in the carpool said to me that I was crazy. They called me $50 lister. Within a year, I was making $49 an hour, which I thought was pretty close, doing training manuals. And then the company phoned me and goes, look, we'll give you $1 an hour for the material. So that took me to my 50. So after I wrote a few training manuals, I asked if I would go and do some training courses. And something I wanted to do was to travel and teach. So I did that, and I got thinking, well, I could make $100 an hour. And it was not long after that I was making $100 an hour. This desire to travel to exotic locations and to do what I love to do, my gift of creativity and creating training materials and speaking, and inspiring and training people. All it was recognizing that that was my gift, and that I can visualize anything associated with that desire and not have any fear, and it's not my job to figure out how that's going to show up. A few weeks ago, and even I work with Jay, and we're talking about opportunities. I'd love to go back to Kuala Lumpur and do a training course. I really love it there, and it was a matter of weeks. I got an email, and the company asked me if I would come and do a training course there. And I go, yeah, fine. It came. I didn't have to go looking for it. It was an opportunity. The opportunity showed up. And so to me, it's really quite obvious that if we put away the fear and we open our eyes and we're conscious and we observe where we'd like to be and we believe that we can be there, the opportunities show up. The people show up. The money shows up. Seriously. People say to me, well, you're so lucky. No, I'm not lucky. I expect it. But at the same time, I don't use it for my self-worth to say, hey, look at me, this is me, because I can't take that with me. I can only take the wisdom that I've gained. But I live in that area of joy, having experiences, not acquiring stuff in order to be successful. And it's great to have stuff when I have it, but I use it, and then when my experience is over, it's gone. So on this next slide, it's my interesting concept. The consciousness, what I call God consciousness, is the consciousness that is in every particle in the universe. And that consciousness, I feel that within me is where this spirit, or the consciousness that is in me right now, came from when I was born. I was conceived sometime around this day, according to my mom, in Toronto for a purpose of spiritual growth. My true inner purpose is to awaken and live in the spiritual realm. I didn't know that at the time, and most people don't. We grow up. When I was born on this date, a Leo, 3811, leader, inspirator, disaster, challenge. But it's what I got. For some reason, I have it in order to have the experiences that I have. And I think it's important for everyone to know, when were you born? Why were you born where you were born? Why do you look the way you look? Why do you have the parents that you have? There's a purpose behind all of that. And it was to do what you came here to do. And I think it's important to find out what you came here to do. It has nothing to do with growing up, getting married, going to school, having children, getting a house, blah, blah, blah. And then, as I gain all of that success, that's an opportunity. See? So what I end up with is, I have an opportunity to grow spiritually, and I need to. When I come into this life, when I'm born, and when I leave, I am wiser. Everyone is. You can't help it. Just the amount of falling down that we do makes us wiser. It's painful to become wise, but the knowledge and experiences equals wisdom. So we need to be able to experience that. So what I look at is, as I'm acquiring knowledge and experiences and stuff, I get older and things start to fall apart. And I start to lose things. Eventually, I'm going to lose everything because I have to leave. And I can't take any of it with me. And none of it defines who I truly am. What I'm going to take with me is the wisdom that I acquired while I was here. So what I like to do is look at it as, I was very unconscious for a number of years, doing the same thing that everyone else does. I'm going through the relationships, getting divorced, buying stuff, getting jobs, wanting and having, the best of everything. Until I realized that it was so not working for me, that I decided, back in 1995, I started reading books by Anthony Robbins, and then eventually into Wayne Dyer, and eventually Eckhart Tolle, and all the books, and all the movies, and all the films. But I started to get it, and I started to practice it. And as I did, I realized that this wasn't that important. What was important was the wisdom that I acquired through the experiences that I was having. So then I decided, well, if I'm going to have experiences and get wisdom, I might as well have good experiences. I might as well have fun with it. I might as well have joy and forget about falling down and taking it personal. Every time we have an experience, our ego mind will judge the experience, good or bad, painful or not painful. We do that, that's all we do. We drive down the road, we walk down the road, we judge everything, good, bad, pain, pleasure, good, bad, that's all we do. We judge everything. This thing does. And so what I tried to do is say, I'm not going to judge anything. I'm just going to have the experience. Because when it ends, another experience will come along. When that one ends, another one will come along. You might as well enjoy them. You know, it's like dreams. Everything's a dream. Christmas was something that I needed to experience by going down to Toronto and seeing my children, my family, and I thought about it. I had that experience. Now it seems like a dream. It's gone. It's just, I can hardly remember half of it. It's like when we're sleeping. Anybody dream and remember it? So cool. And I don't understand dreams, but I have this alarm clock. It's like an egg. You know how the snooze, you have snooze like 7 minutes or 9 minutes? Mine's like 4. I don't know why it's 4, but this thing is like an egg and it's got 4 minutes snooze. So I hit it and I purposely try to have lucid dream and say, okay, I'm going to dream for the next 4 minutes. Or I'm going to sleep. And I hit this thing about 9 times every morning. But I have this dream, and then 4 minutes later the alarm goes off and I wake up and I go, doesn't make any sense. I just spent a month as a POW in a Japanese zoo, and I wake up and I'm going, what happened? But I know it was only 4 minutes. It seemed like that dream I had and this weird thing that went on was a month long, but it wasn't. It was just, it came and it went. Like everything we do, like tonight. You know, tomorrow it'll just be a dream. Everything is an experience. So I look at these experiences and I'm going, wow, these are so cool. I don't need to judge the experiences either being good or bad. I don't take anything personal. It is what it is. This is what I'm going through. And I'm trying to enjoy these. So it's really, this is a way of illustrating the ability to, why not leave the planet with a lot more wisdom than you would have if you never woke up? Because I don't really know about reincarnation or coming back, but let's say you did have to come back. I don't think I'd want to come back at the same level. I'd rather come back a little bit wiser. You know, I have a mother that is such an old soul. I'm pretty sure she gets her wings when she leaves this planet. She is so beautiful. She must have gone through 1,000 lifetimes to get to where she is right now. I don't know. I don't know how that works. This is one of the things that I was hoping in our meetup group that we would discuss on people's ideas of, are we coming back here? This can't be the only planet in the universe. I would rather try another one. Surely. I've read somewhere that this is the most difficult planet to be on in the universe. Somebody told me that. And there were days when I believed it. So on my next slide, this is kind of weird, but I had to bring it up to try to demonstrate to you my thought process. There is an opposite. There is evil, there is good, there's black and white. I think there has to be. Every day cannot be a buffet, right? There has to be something as an alternate. So there's matter, there's antimatter, there's night, there's day, there's man, there's woman, there's everything has an opposite. In our own personality, if we remain unconscious for our entire life, we never wake up to who we truly are and our true potential. We're basically living in this black area, and I use this as an example, because somehow we need to figure out why things are the way they are. Why is there bad? Why is there good? Why do we see that? What is our purpose in having to do this? So what I looked at was, in these zones, there is the white and a huge gray area where most people live, in and out of consciousness. These are the experiences we have, up and down. And then there's this black area, what I call the fear and evil. If I am totally unconscious, so working up, I'm looking at a black zone of unconscious people that are dangerous. So we read about them every day in the paper, right? These people have no concept of good or love or consciousness. Totally, these people are unconscious. If I move up in the black area and I do wake up and I become conscious, I'm struggling because I'm still down in this zone. As I move up into the gray area and I'm unconscious, I'm existing. A lot of people on this planet are existing. They're serving no purpose but using up good air. Every day, go to work, come home. Go to work, come home. Watch television, have occasional sex. Whatever they do is not that exciting because they won't wake up to the possibilities and the opportunities. So they live in this gray area, and maybe they're going to do that their entire life and go with a little bit of wisdom and come back and try again. If we move up to the gray area where we are conscious, now we start living. And this is where I like to be because I like living. I like looking at the opportunities and the possibilities of what can I do? Because I don't want to do the same thing I did yesterday. That's boring. I'm on to the next big adventure. My whole life is a romantic adventure. With no fear. You know, I've been, those of us who are this way, and my good friend Jay is this way, have been shot at and in the jungle and had things happen to us that most people would probably have post-traumatic disorders and never leave the farm. But we love that. That's what we do. And it gets, as we become more clear and conscious, we crave that. And we love to live that way. So what the idea is to get up to the point where we are conscious in this zone and we're beautiful. So Mother Teresa and my mom. I could have probably flipped those, but seriously, these, and we need these people. You know, Nelson Mandela versus Hitler. Sure, they were both very good leaders, but one of them lives in the black and one of them lives in the white. Why is that? Well, it's this idea of consciousness and old soul, I believe. So here I am. As I change my slide to show, this is my spiritual growth. I need to get here. And probably it's going to take me more than one lifetime. Maybe not. But no matter what happens, if I could wake up, if everybody can, and apparently on December 21st in 2012, the whole world is going to become conscious of all the dumb things that we're doing and become more conscious of. So I'm not going to buy any Christmas presents next year because I'm going to wait and see what happens. So here's me. Seriously, I started out down here. Somewhere. There I am. Look at that. See, I got white around me. And I move up. And I'm moving up. And I'm conscious of where I'm going. Because I desire to be up here. I desire to live this way. And eventually, I'd like to get up here. And not have to come back. I'd like my 43 virgins, or whatever you get when you go. How many do you get? 7. Oh, sorry. I thought it was 43. Yeah. 7 squared. 7 squared virgins. Yeah. Okay, so again, I just wanted to demonstrate to you that there's a lot of people that are not going to change. There's a lot of people who signed up to come here tonight, like 25 people, but they don't because it's too much trouble. It's like, I'm going to read the book, The Secret, and then I'll get a check in the mail tomorrow. I'd rather do that. But then they get part of the way into the book and, this book, this is too hard. I'd rather just watch television. So we have a lot of people who do that. But I think moving up is the way to go. And I promise you, so guarantee I've done this all my life. Whether it was judged as a good or bad experience, I've created my own reality all the time. So when I would like to be somewhere or to meet someone. So I came back from Madagascar and I had a place in Chemainus that I was in a relationship and I needed to sell it. I came back from Madagascar, sold it. That relationship went this way, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I thought, well, I need about 6 months. About 6 months of working and just taking it easy. And so I got a job offer within days to work here in Vancouver for 6 months. Because in April, I'm going to Kuala Lumpur, and I thought, well, that's perfect. And I totally expected to get that. I took 5 months off and did nothing. I worked on my boat. So then I thought, well, I'm not going to buy a place. I don't want to own anything. What am I going to do? So I thought, well, I'll go on Craigslist and I'll look up a place to live. So I went and looked up, and I found this. Out of all the places, there was these pictures. I thought, wow, I could see myself there. It was really a great little place. So I sent off a note, and it was to Sharon. And she writes me back. She goes, I'm not having a man live in my house. Just want a student. I went, no. Hang on, let me send you my picture. So I sent her my picture. That was really persistence. I think persistence good. So then I came over and I said, well, look, I'll come over and I'll meet you and we'll go for dinner. So it worked out. And she said, okay, well, you can live here for 6 months. And so there I am. Like, it all just beautifully fell into place. And then I met Jay. And you know the 6 degrees of separation, Jay goes, yeah, well, I was working on a refinery in California. I go, yeah, I worked on a refinery in California. Oh, do you know so-and-so? Yeah, I know so-and-so. Oh, when were you there? I was there. Like, it's so weird. And then now we're looking at it and saying, hey, we should go and do this and do that. Like, everything just kind of comes together, right? It's beautiful, as long as we believe that. So on my next slide, so that I don't take up too much time, here's what I've created. In our brain, we can break it into 4 sections. This is my theory. I can take my brain and say I have a processor, a protector, a professor, and a projector. And my spirit half versus my ego half gives me the opportunity to create my own reality, to create whatever it is that I desire. And I'll show you on the next slide the illustration of what I'm referring to. Here I am, naked. Here is the universal intelligence, God consciousness, whatever it is you like to call it, this realm of intelligence. Here I am as the spirit dreamer. My preference is not to look out into the world and think that it's real and judge it with my ego, that it's good or bad or dangerous or otherwise. I prefer that whatever's coming in my 5 senses are processing it and analyzing it. I prefer to take that information for what it's worth, but then project out into the world what I would like to see, the reality that I would like to experience. And this is what I'm referring to here is, you don't have to accept what you're seeing out there as you perceive it. You're just perceiving with your limited beliefs and limited ability with your mind. But over and above that is the ability to see things, consciously observe things that are going on that nobody else can see, beyond our 5 senses. And to be able to look out at the world and say, I'd like to see this, I'd like to see this, and visualize it. Create your own reality. Go on a cruise ship. It worked for me. Find that perfect relationship by visualizing and believing. Before I went to Madagascar, I heard a little whisper about a project. I found a map of Madagascar. I printed it off and I put it up in my cubicle. And within months, I had a phone call from somebody asking if I wanted to go work in Madagascar. And I went. They gave me the parameters, and I said, "Oh, I'll come for an interview." They flew me to Toronto. I had an interview. It was like such an exciting adventure. I thought, yeah, I'm going to go. And I already knew I was going to take the job because I kind of created it. So I went. I had a huge experience and learned a lot just by being able to project out into the world what would I like. So everything begins with a thought. This meetup began with a thought. That chair began with a thought. It wouldn't be here if somebody didn't think about it. They'd think about it, it manifested. One day it will be gone. One day all of this will be gone. It's just a dream, right? It was created by somebody's idea. People who invent things visualize something out of nothing, and they create that. It's amazing. And so on my next slide, I think it's just highlighting. So conscious observer, what's in it for me? Why would I want to be a conscious observer? What does it mean? How do I get to be a conscious observer? I think this is a really important thing. Know thyself. Who am I really? So I am not Edmund or EJ or Ted. I am not a man at 54 years old that does this. I truly am a spiritual being living through this physical body, experiencing the emotions and all the physical things and growing and having so much fun with that. And when I leave, everything gets left behind except the wisdom of what I've learned. So I think if you uncover your gifts as well, I differentiate between gifts and talents. I think a gift is what we came here with, one or two gifts. A talent is something we develop while we're here. Tiger Woods was a gifted golfer. He wasn't a talented golfer. There's lots of talented golfers, but there's really only one gifted golfer. Everybody has a gift. And I think if you find your gift, there's a reason why you brought that gift here. And there's a reason why you look the way you do. There's a reason why you live where you live. There's a reason why you have the characters that you have, because it's to fulfill a purpose. So your inner purpose is to awaken. Your outer purpose is to live with those desires and those gifts. That's your outer purpose. Not to just survive, procreate, get through the day, drink beer. Well, you can, yeah, I do that. But living versus existing. There's a whole lot of things to do in between the time of being born and leaving. Really great stuff. And by being a conscious observer, seriously, it opens up doors to a whole life of what I think is magic. Seriously magical. Serving your higher self, again, this is who I am. So today when I was walking up here at 3 o'clock, some kid was going down the street in a convertible with the top down, talking on the cell phone, and it's kind of like, hey, look at me, look at me. It was a nice car, but it's like everybody's looking, going, I'm not. Like it's a, but that's that thing, you know. Oh, look at me, this is me, you know. I like looking at people see through them, see their aura, see who that person is, because everybody's beautiful, seriously beautiful. Once you get out of their head and into here, right? So if you serve your higher self, if you trust in your higher self, and if you co-create that which you desire. So desire is different than want. So I desire to experience versus wanting to have. You can want to have stuff, and you can buy lots of stuff. But it doesn't define who you are, and it's really not going to always make you happy, because then you'll need to have more stuff. You need a newer car. You need a newer computer. You need a better phone. I like not having stuff. I finally got a cell phone, and it's so annoying because I don't want a cell phone, but I have one. So I got this cheap little cell phone that people laugh at me. I don't even know how to text on it. But it's not important to me. What's important to me is, this is important to me. This is an experience that is fun for me. So in the future, what I would like to do, and I'm going to continue to advertise on the Meetup website for the Conscious Observer, is to see if there's a way we can get together, even at coffee shops or at our condominium complex, and talk about the storybook idea. I journal all the time. I have like 5 journals with my illustrations and my ideas and my book. And I think it's really fun to support one another. Collectively, it really works well. If we get together and we look at each other's gifts and desires, and we help each other get from here to here. You know, constructively working with people in a meetup and saying, well, what is it you would love to experience more than anything? Where everybody will help you to write that story that you're trying to write, and to see how you're doing. And so that you can find the opportunities and not be afraid to talk to a person that you believe showed up for a reason, but you're too afraid to talk to them. Or because you need money in order to have this experience and you're not sure where that money's going to come from. Stop worrying about it. It will show up. It does if you truly desire to experience for the purpose of experience, not attachment, just the experience. So that's my concept of conscious observer, speaking to you from my own experience and wanting to share with you what it's done for me. Because I know there are thousands of people who would love to go from here to here, and to have more joyous and harmony in their relationships, have a better career, get out of debt, have a life, travel, all these things. People even improving their health. There's so much we can do. It's unbelievable. And it's not like The Secret or the law of attraction or wishful thinking. We don't want to fool ourselves to think that it's so magical. There are laws of nature. There is mathematical, there is gravity. We have to abide by that. And science is right. Science is right that we are limited. But I think on the spiritual side, we're not as limited as we think we are. We truly are sorcerers. It's just that we don't want to be like the sorcerer's apprentice who starts waving a wand around and creating havoc, because I've done that. And then I'm going, wow, I wish I hadn't done that. But it's been really fun. And I'm getting to the point where, I've realized that, wow, I'm at this age. My father passed away young. I have a great uncle, though. He's 105 years old. Can you just go back to that second slide, sir? This guy's 105 years old, and his brother was 100 years old when he died. My grandmother was 98 or 99. Keep going. And his secret was this: can you live here? So he looked after himself, but he laughed about everything. The whole family did. That's all he did was laugh. Everything was just, he went, imagine being 105, like that. He was born like in 1905. He went through the whole manufacturing of cars and all the wars and microwave ovens and television, all this stuff. It's so amazing. But he just laughed. He still got his hair, which is so cool because apparently I get my hair from my own. He walks to town every day, pushes the 80-year-old girlfriends into the lunchroom. If you want to live to be old, how many times have you seen people that completely abuse their body? Like, seriously, smoking and drinking and out carousing and having a great time. But they don't do any of this, Just don't care about stuff. They're just having fun. They laugh. They're living to be old. I think if we want to live to be old, get rid of that. If we want to live to be really old, do this. And do this. Forget about that. Try to put a little bit of an X in there. And the pursuit of happiness, like I said, I don't think about the pursuit of happiness. I think about the pursuit of joy through conscious observation. So on the very last slide, I have a picture of my beautiful place in Madagascar, where you have to go down.
I know.
So my desire, future vision, is to lay on this beach and write my books. Here I am. So here's my book I'm working on. I'm looking for additional information and stories from people in order to create this, because I would like to spread this word a little easier. And then one of the reasons why we're filming this is I wanted to pass this off to in other conferences and have people start thinking about the idea. But here's my beach. And there's even a chair for a friend. See? Companion. Isn't it beautiful? And so you awaken to your spirit, true self-desire, and discover the joy of living. Seriously. When you're living on this beach and you don't own anything, and beer is 70 cents, and fish is free, and seriously, it doesn't get any better than that. And people say, well, you're so lucky. I think, nah, anybody can do it. So, this is the end of my speech, and I thought maybe we'd have a cup of coffee and we'll have a little chat about who are you and why are you here. Because I bet you got some good stories. I know you guys at the back, you're not going to talk?
Oh, you don't want to start?
Oh, come on, I do want to start. I've heard everything secondhand, so I want to hear it firsthand.
The truth, yeah.
Exactly. No. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming out, and I'm going to update the meetup group and when we're going to have another meeting over at our condo. That it's just a friendly get-together. And I'll make this video, once it's edited, available to everyone and put it on YouTube, and there's little things you want to see. We're going to have some music in it. And then when I get back to Madagascar, I'll send you all a picture of me on the beach. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Make me look thinner.
Well done.
Thank you, dear. Here's my